All right, so this doesn't have to be a nighttime yoga. You could also do this practice. This is just a general practice that I would do to open up my hips and shoulders as well, but also really nice at the end of a long day. So begin lying on your back. Take your feet onto the floor, knees bent. Take your arms into a cactus position. Bring your feet close together with a little space in between them. And now we're just going to do like butterfly with the legs. So as you inhale, let the knees go open. And as you exhale, bring the knees together. Inhale, nice and fluid. Let the knees go open. Let the knees open evenly. And as you exhale, bring the knees back together. 2 more times. Link the movement with your breath. Last one. Then take your feet almost the width of the mat. And take them the width of the mat. And as you inhale, take your right knee towards your left big toe. Stretch through the lower back. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale the left knee to the right big toe. Lengthen through the low back. Exhale back to center. Inhale, right knee to left big toe. And let's turn the gaze towards the right forearm. Exhale back to center. Inhale, left knee to right big toe. Gaze towards the left forearm. Exhale to center. Inhale, change sides. Exhale to center. Inhale, change sides. Exhale to center. Then hug your right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg out along the floor. Then lift the left leg up about 6 inches. Keep your lower back long and your neck long. Change legs. Hug your left knee in. Stretch the right leg out along the floor. Let the top of the right thigh roll down as if you could lengthen from the inner top thigh down into your inner foot. Then as you draw your navel in, keep the length through the top thigh. Lift the leg up a few inches. Then change sides. This time keep the left foot elevated. Take your right arm up to the ceiling and slowly reach your arm overhead. Visualize the tip of the tailbone and the crown of the head. Breathe as much length in between those 2 spaces as possible. And as you exhale, stabilize in your middle, change sides. So we're going to start to pump some blood through the body, warm up the joints before we do some deep stretching. Exhale, change sides. So you feel your core have to work a little bit. Exhale, change sides. Exhale, change sides. Keep your low abs drawing in, navel to the front of the spine. Exhale, change sides. Exhale, change sides. Let's just do 3 more rounds. Last round. Good. Then set the feet down onto the floor. Open up the elbows again. And let's do some cat-cow for the lower back. So as you inhale, big arch in the lower back so you could slide your hand underneath. Exhale, flatten the lower back down into the mat. Inhale, big arch in your lower back. Exhale, flatten lower back out. And now let's add the neck. Stretch the chin away from the chest. Exhale, arch lower back, or inhale, sorry, arch lower back, chin into chest. Exhale, flatten lower back, stretch chin away from chest. All right, then come to neutral, and one last little warm up for the arms. So as you exhale, bring the hands down to the fingertips point towards the feet. Then inhale, externally rotate, and stretch the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring the elbows back down to the side and fingers point down. Inhale the arms up and all the way over. Exhale, elbows down and all the way to the side. Inhale, arms up. 2 more times. Keep the navel into the spine. Try not to let the lower back lift up when you stretch the arms up. Lengthen the buttock flesh out of the low back and all the way down. Just 1 more time. Inhale, arms up. And arms back down. All right, so now I'm going to use a strap for Supta Padangusthasana. You might not have, you can, depending on your preference, you can use a yoga strap, which is one of these white thin straps from the Iyengar school. They use these straps. I think these are the best straps to use. If you don't have one of those, you can use a band, which might make you have to use stabilizing muscles a little bit more than the strap, a little less locked in feeling. So I'm going to use the band for today. So I take the band right across the toe mounds. I take the leg straight up. Then I stretch the other leg out along the floor. So 2 different actions that you're looking for as you stretch Supta Padangusthasana is that 1, the root of the right thigh is dropping down and into the socket. The top of the left thigh, especially through the inner thigh, is lengthening down into your feet. So it's almost like from the release of the legs, you can find more length through the sides of the low trunk. The chest is open, so even though I'm holding the strap, I'm not letting my shoulders yank up, and I'm not aggressively yanking this leg towards me. Instead, I find the point of tension, and I just breathe gently into that. Ooh. So as you feel the back of the leg open, you can start to bring the foot closer towards you, as long as you keep finding this feeling of the thigh bone dropping down and in. Then take both sides of the strap into the left hand. Move the foot over to the left so that your big toe aligns with your shoulder. Keep dropping the hip crease down, top of the thigh down, and then see if you can bring the foot closer towards the shoulder. Breathe into the outer leg where the hamstring meets towards the IT band. Open the outer right knee and extend through the big toe mound as the thigh bone drops down. Most importantly, stay connected to your breath. Let your nice steady breath help to open up where it feels tight in your leg. Then take your leg back to center. And as you anchor through the top of the left thigh down into the foot, start to open your leg to the right. So sometimes I teach this where you don't allow any movement in the pelvis, where you keep the hip bones pointing straight up, and that's more of a stability exercise. Today, you can allow for a little tip of the pelvis, but keep stretching and spreading the groins. So as the left inner leg releases down into the left foot, the right groin reaches into the right big toe mound. So flow the inner knees away from each other. Release the right outer hip out of the lower back. And breathe more opening into your legs. Then bring your leg back up and release the strap. Cross your ankle over your knee and hug your left knee, left shin in towards your chest. Then release that. Let's do the other side. So take the strap across your left foot. Take the leg straight up. Release thigh bone down. Extend the right leg and roll from the top of the right inner thigh down into the foot. Imagine that the hips were being released out of your lower back. See if you can start to bring your left foot a little bit closer towards your face without the feeling like the left thigh bone is trying to yank up towards your chest. Still, the top of the left thigh releases away from the chest. Then take the strap into the right hand. Take it over so it lines up with your right shoulder and start to bring the foot closer towards your shoulder. So especially in these shapes, it's not about how far you're going. You want to be feeling a nice steady sensation, but you could still breathe evenly and you're not shaking. So just pay attention to what's going on in your body. If you need to have a little bend in your knees, so if your hamstrings are really tight, it might be a lot to try to take your leg into a similar shape that I'm showing. So work with knees bent until it feels like you can breathe steady and feel a nice mild sensation. Then bring your leg back to center. Take the strap over in the left hand and start to open the leg over to the left. Put your right hand at the top of your right thigh for a moment and roll the top inner thigh down towards the foot, into the heel, into the inner foot. Stretch through the inner foot and spread the groins away from each other. Reach from the left inner leg into the left big toe mound. Let the chest open again. Reconnect to your breath and just make sure in the stretch that you're not creating more tension for yourself. Stretch is helping you to open. Then bring your leg back up and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Hug your right shin, knee towards your chest. So you can, if you're more flexible, you can hug the shin. Less flexible, hug the back of the leg. Or if it bothers your knee, you can hold the back of the leg instead of clamping the shin in. Think of your left foot, the ankle that's crossed over, like it's pushing up against a wall. So flex through the foot, drive through the foot, and release the top of the left thigh down and away from you as the right shin comes in. The thigh spins out. Feel the stretch in your outer hip. Then uncross the legs. All right, roll over to your side. So make these transitions really calm. Keep that calm feeling in your body when you come on up. And let's do a low lunge now. So I'm going to use a blanket to cushion the back knee. And people always ask me which props to have during the class. I always recommend having a blanket, a block, and a strap handy when you're practicing. Okay, so in this lunge, I have my feet hip distance apart. The hands go to the inside of the feet. The distance between my front foot and my back knee is enough so that when I start to stretch down through my back leg inner thigh, which is the left one, I'm rolling more towards the top of the kneecap instead of the bottom of the kneecap. If you feel deep sensation here, and it's a lot just to be in this position, then I would just stay here and breathe. Phase 2 of this stretch would be to lift the back leg, and then again to roll from the inner thigh, inner groin, just on the inside of the hip bone, to lengthen the psoas and the hip flexors down through the knee. Draw the navel up and open your chest. Phase 3 would be to take the bind, to reach back with the right hand, to grab the foot, to bring the foot closer towards the buttock. Draw the navel in as you stretch the inner left leg down into the inner knee. And then see if you can sit the hips closer towards the right heel. Whichever stretch you're in, make sure that you can breathe nice and steady in and out through your nose. Then release your foot, bring your hand down. Change sides. So remember where your front foot was, you can measure. Bring the hands down to the inside of the foot. Make sure you have the same hip distance apart for your foot and for your knee. And first stretch 5 breaths, phase 1. Let the inner leg flow down into the knee. So that's more of an action. Sometimes when we practice, we have gross physical movements where on the outside, I'll see something happen. And then we also have more subtle actions, which is the release in this pose from the psoas down to the inner knee. And at the same time, coupling the action, the navel draws in and up to help lengthen the psoas. Then stay there or bring the heel towards the buttock. Be symmetrical with what you did on the other side. If you have an injured knee, make sure to back off on both sides. Reconnect to your breath. Then phase 3, you reach back with the left hand for the foot or for the ankle. Bring the heel towards the buttock and roll the chest open. Then release your foot, bring your hand down. Release that. And now let's just practice a little gentle back bend. So lower down, come into Sphinx pose. In Sphinx pose, place the elbows just like an inch or two in front of your shoulders. Take the hands shoulder distance apart. Turn the thighs into neutral so that the center of your kneecap points straight down towards the floor. Let the lower back, the upper back melt into a back bend. Let the chest spread open. Let the frontal hip bones release down, the pubic bone release down. Now we'll start to make the stretch a bit more active. Reach through your big toes. Plug the inner knees up. And as you roll the outer thighs down, stretch the pubic bone down, draw the skin of the belly in and up towards your heart. Roll the chest open. Then visualize like your spine is making one smooth arc from your tailbone all the way up. Then lower yourself down. Put your hands next to your side ribs. Turn the elbow straight back. And as you stretch the legs, start to roll the chest. Instead of doing up dog, I don't want to do too big of an exciting back bend right before bed. I'm just going to lower the chest down, come up onto my hands and knees, and gently stretch back into child's pose. Just feel how good it feels to have done those stretches we've done so far. And then come back up. Have a seat. You could sit on your blanket. If your hips are tight, I would fold the blanket in half and sit on that. Cross the legs at the shins with the right shin in front. Have your strap or your band. Then take your left arm up, bend the elbow, drop the strap behind you. Take the right arm, internally rotate. Take the hand up in between the shoulder blades and grab your strap. Open up all the sides of the chest. Grow tall through your spine. Pull the strap in opposite directions. Then release. Change the cross of your legs. Take the right arm up. Spin the arm externally. Bend the elbow, drop the strap behind. Take the left arm, internally rotate, and hand up in between your blades. So I know that my shoulders are especially tight from all the paddling that I do. If you're more flexible where you can bind your fingers, that's fine, you don't have to use the strap, but I'd pay attention to make sure that you still have good posture while you're holding this bind, that your chest is open. So I err on the side of going a little bit wider with my bind and holding the strap so I can keep my chest open and sit up straight. Let the breath start to open up the armpit chest on the right side where it feels tight. How it wants to pull the elbow down. Let the armpit chest, outer armpit open. Good, then release that bind. Sit with your legs spread wide apart. If you happen to have a bolster or a pillow, you might want that for this next stretch. If you have the flexibility to, you can fold forward and lie down on the bolster. If you don't have the flexibility to, you could just work on stretching your legs, planting your hands in front of you. So as you're holding here, release from the inner legs down into the inner feet, just like we practiced on the back. Let the belly draw in so that the lower back spreads and release. Then let the head and neck integrate into the pose. Look for one smooth, even curve in your spine. So the feeling is that the whole spine is participating in the pose. I know that from the structure of the spine, it won't be one smooth, even curve, but the feeling is that from your tailbone, from the sacrum to the back of the skull, you have a nice, even movement. Then come back up. Sit up tall for a moment, hands at your side. All right, let's just finish a little twist then, and we'll be ready for bed. Although you can see here, it's early in the morning. All right, so lie back down onto your back. Maybe rock side to side. Feel your sacrum release. Open up the elbows to the side. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Let your hips, let your legs fall over to the left. Let the right shoulder be heavy towards the floor. Then remember we were doing the lying down strap stretch. and you're releasing your hips out of your lower back. So that same feeling, like your hips are being tractioned out of your lower back, so that you get more length through your trunk. And that'll help you to get a nice even twist. Instead of just some of the bones in your spine, some of the vertebrae of the spine want to twist more than others. We call those your hinge points, or they're often just the transition points where the spine changes direction and curve. So see if you can especially lengthen through those points. You can visualize those spots in the spine lengthening so that we help to build health and strengthen those parts of the spine. And then bring your legs back to center and change the cross. Left ankle goes over the right knee. As your left shoulder is heavy towards the floor, start to let the knees go all the way over to the right. And breathe the hips out of the lower back. Let the spine lengthen. And as you watch your breath, visualize the breath traveling in through your nose, all the way into the bottom of the lungs. All four sides of the bottom lungs expanding, back side, side sides, front side, middle lungs, top lungs. And as you exhale without force, just watch the air leave. And bring the legs back to center. All right, hug both knees into your chest. Let the back release. Happy baby, reach on the insides of the knees, take the big toes or the outsides of the feet. Again, let the back release. The shoulders drop down. Then set your feet down. So just notice how you feel. Notice how the body feels relaxed. Let the breath start to soothe your mind. Just feel how good the body feels after having done those stretches. Then stretch one leg out and then the other. So before you go transition into bed, take a few minutes here to practice watching your breath. Let go of any tension in the hands. Let go of any tension in the feet. Relax the legs, relax the arms. Let the shoulders drop. Let go of any tension you're holding in your hips. Let go of the lower back, the abdominals. Let the chest open. Relax the neck, the jaw. Empty the palate. Release the tongue. Let the eyes soften. Let go of any tension in your ears, in between the ears and the ear canal. Let the forehead soften. Let the front brain release towards the back brain. Relax the teeth. And then just practice watching the body being breathed, as if you're just a witness to the process. Watch the breath move in and out without trying to control it. If you have more time to practice meditation, you could stay here and stay for another 10, 20 minutes. Or if it's time for bed, then you can roll over to your side with me. Keep your nerves calm. And press yourself up to seated. Sit up straight and tall. Join your palms together. With your eyes closed, lower your head to your heart. Lift the head and open the eyes.